ADHD family, I'm Yakini, coming to you from ADHD Love. So I had a topic today that I wanted to talk to you about, and that is restlessness. And, there are times when I'm wondering, and I'm sure you're wondering the same thing too, why won't my child go to sleep? I mean, sometimes they stay up to like 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. And I've even heard parents tell me they even stay up till like bright hours in the morning. Why won't they go to sleep? Why is an ADHD child different than other children? So we're going to get into that today because I have experienced that quite a bit. And I want to share some tips with you that not only came from his doctor, but also some research that I've done and I put in place to help him go to sleep at a reasonable time more often than not. Okay, so So the first thing is, let's take a step back and really understand what even makes them go to sleep on a regular basis, or any other child go to sleep on a regular basis, right? Because ADHD children tend to be a little bit different. So there is something that's called melatonin. And I'm not sure if you've heard about it, but melatonin is a hormone and it's made by part of the brain called the pineal gland. And it helps regulate the sleep-wake cycle, which is also called the circadian rhythm. And so what happens is more melatonin is produced, it raises the temperature of the body when it gets dark, and it helps them fall asleep. And then obviously there's less in the morning when it gets light, so they are able to wake up. But what happens with an ADHD child is that circadian rhythm is completely off, and they don't do the same thing. They do not sleep when they're supposed to sleep. So while everybody else is starting to get tired and fall asleep, they don't tend to get tired, sometimes 1.5, 2 hours later. And as I said before, some parents say even later than that. And then on the opposite side, they wake up much later. So how do you handle something like that? How do you help your child get to sleep a little bit better? So like I said, I want to share a few tips what we do in our household to help prepare them and also get them to go to sleep a lot easier. So the first thing that I do is we work on meditation and mindfulness exercises. So depending on who you talk to, they may say this is pretty similar, but I look at it differently. So meditation, what I do is I get him into bed and I have him start counting down. So start the breathing exercises. So then that way he can start bringing bringing the calmness into the picture. And then as far as the mindfulness, what I do is I have him, focus on a specific time in his life, right? So one of the things that we focus on is the beach. And I particularly picked the beach, number one, because he's been there a few times, but also because it's a lot of moving parts. His mind is racing. It's going, like I always say, 5,000 miles a minute. And I want him to be able to help focus his mind on something that is active. So what I have him do is I have him think about the beach. I have him think about the ocean, the water moving. I have him smelling the salt. I have him remembering all of those pieces and parts and have him put it together so he can start focusing and breathing. And that actually starts to bring some of that calmness down. Then on top of that, I actually play light music. So whether it be jazz or classical or rock, I play really light music every single night to help again bring some of that energy down, and it works wonders. As long as I don't play music that they can sing to, because I've tried that too and it doesn't work. If I don't play music that they can sing to, I play music that is just instrumental, and again, it just really helps bring that energy down inside of him. The other thing I do is I stop what I call exciting activities before bed. I stop that, I'll say probably about an hour before bed. So when I say exciting activities, that means we stop the gaming, or we stop, and this is even on the weekends because we don't do a lot of electronics during the week. So I stop the gaming, I stop television time, and if we do watch television, it's going to be something, again, that's calming. It's not going to be something that gets them, excited. And I stop there's no play fighting, right? So the kids cannot play fight. Again, we do everything that is calming and, again, just to prepare them for getting ready for bed. There's no drinking liquids. 30 to 45 minutes before bedtime, no liquids, because it never fails. If they drink liquids close to bedtime, that means they're going to get up, at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And sometimes they'll go to sleep right away, and sometimes they don't. And I say they because I do these same activities for my daughter, even though my daughter actually goes to sleep pretty quickly. For a period of time, she was staying up really late, but she goes to sleep pretty quickly now. And so, but it's very consistent with my son. But I do all of these exercises for both of my children. And one of it is making sure that they do not have liquids right before they go to bed, because they get up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes they won't go to sleep, back to sleep right away. The other thing is that I do use melatonin. So that's completely recommended by my doctor. So if you ever hear me mention any type of supplements, medication, in any of the videos, always check with your doctor to make sure that's appropriate for you. But our doctor, or his doctor, recommended melatonin. And so every night they take melatonin, and and it really does help them fall asleep. So again, most of the time it's for my son. I only use it for the period of time with my daughter, and I don't use it all the time with my son either. One thing was recommended is you only use it when you need to. So like during the summertime, I rarely use melatonin, but during the school year, we use it on a regular basis. Plus, it's just more stressful during the school year. So that's another reason why he tends to stay up later. It's because he's just like, just really stressed out. So I want to make sure that he is getting his rest so he can handle each day a little bit easier. So melatonin is another thing that we use as part of the system. And please keep in mind, so everybody is going to be different when it comes to melatonin, just like any other type of intake. What's important is that melatonin cannot be used by itself. It has to be used with these other activities. So still playing the light music, and still, meditation and mindfulness, bringing that energy down, and still stopping the activities early, and still not having them drink water 30 to 45 minutes before going to bedtime. All of that is coupled with the melatonin, because if I just give him the melatonin by itself and then, expect him to just fall asleep, it's not going to work that way. It has to be coupled with everything else for it to work. And then the last thing is, I also have him write down particular thoughts. So I even use this technique, as forever, where if my mind is racing, I will write those thoughts down just to give me a period of time to fall asleep. And it works wonders. So if I know his mind is racing, he has a lot of things on his mind, I will have him write in his journal. The same thing with my daughter. I will have him write something down just to make sure that they are able to get it out of their mind onto the paper and fall asleep easier. Okay, so those are some few activities or tips that we use here at the household. It does work. It really does work wonders. And yes, there are times when he still stays up late, but more often than not, because we use these strategies, he goes to sleep a lot easier. So if you want more content like this, definitely subscribe. Do not forget to hit that notification bell so you are notified when another video is coming out. And please share what you do when you are trying to get your child to go to sleep. What techniques do you use? Please definitely share that in the comment box below, because I definitely want to hear from you, okay? And if you like this video, please hit the like button. And as always, I always love connecting with you. And please have a wonderful and blessed day. All right, take care. Bye.